Nation? Welcome to yet another edition of Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater. As always, thank you for joining me. We got a quick little episode for you here tonight, a little Boston College post-game after that big win in Chestnut Hill on Saturday. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Cuse Militia podcast. Huge shout out and thank you to Sean and Joe from the Cuse Militia podcast. They had me on their episode last night. We talked a lot about Cuse football and that big win over Boston College, and we talked some Cuse basketball as well. So just wanted to thank them for having me on. Go ahead and check them out. They're on Twitter at Cuse Militia. They're on Instagram at Cuse Militia. They're on YouTube. They're on iTunes. Go ahead and watch that. I posted it up on my Twitter, so watch that. Let me know what you think. It was a lot of fun, and it was a good time doing that with them. Now let's dig right into it. Syracuse defeated Boston College Saturday afternoon in Chestnut Hill with a final score of 42-21. Now this was a little bit surprising to me. I did not think we were going to beat them by this much. My prediction was somewhere around along the lines of 24-21, 24-17, something like that. I don't exactly remember. I didn't think it was going to be this high scoring. I was expecting more of a defensive battle, and I certainly didn't think we were going to pull away with it quite like this. This game actually was a game that kind of nerve-wracked me a little bit, especially coming off a tough loss at Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium. So nonetheless, Syracuse improves to 9-3 on the season, which is absolutely huge. They've clinched up a pretty nice-looking bowl game. Not exactly sure what it's going to be just yet. We're going to find that out next Sunday. Yesterday, the AP and the coaches polls both came out. We ranked up at number 18 in the country. Curious to see tomorrow night on Tuesday what the college football playoff poll is going to have us at. We really, plain and simply, dominated this football game. One of the keys to the game was stopping the shifty and powerful running back, a preseason Heisman candidate, A.J. Dillon, for Boston College, and we did that pretty thoroughly. He did go out and didn't play much of the second half with somewhat of an ankle injury. We kind of targeted his ankles quite a bit throughout the game, but he finished off the day with just 56 yards off of 12 carries, so a good showing by the Orange defense there. We knew that was going to be a big key to the game, and we certainly delivered. Eric Dungey, clearly, he's going to win our offensive flame of the game. He just had an absolute huge night. He finished off the day with 362 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns through the air. He also finished off the day with 34 rushing yards and 3 more touchdowns. Tack it up, that's 6 touchdowns for the Deuce on the Loose. I'm totally stealing that from you, Sean, if you're listening from the Cuse Militia podcast. I like that, the Deuce on the Loose. So, big game out of Dungey, needed a big response, and he certainly delivered. Just great to see him go out in his last regular season game like that. I was nervous. I didn't know if we were even going to get to see him whatsoever. In fact, I didn't think we were going to see him at all with everything that transpired in the Notre Dame game. They really didn't keep us updated as fans whatsoever. We just kind of assumed we were going to be seeing Tommy on Saturday, and nonetheless, Dungey trotted out there, and he certainly balled out for his final showing in the regular season. He was out there. He was blowing kisses to the Boston College fans, throwing footballs into the face of a Boston College defensive lineman. So he was amped up. He was ready to go, and it was good to see good old Dungey. He had this play where he just trucked over one of the safeties for Boston College on his way into the end zone. He had another nice run where he just came around the corner and just plainly outran the Boston College defense. So he looked like a man amongst boys out there, and that's just, there's no other way to put it. Rushing game also got going quite a bit as well. Dante Strickland, he's a senior. It's his final season appearance. He had 20 carries for 129 yards. So and it was a nice showing out of him. He broke 2 pretty long ones. So really good game out of Dante Strickland. Mo Neal got in there, just 37 yards, but that's all you need sometimes, you know. He really was able to move the chains well for us, as well as Strickland, and the running game clearly got going. With the running game getting going, that really opened up the development of the passing game. Sean Riley, another big game out of him. It's his second game of the season as a leading receiver. He had 115 yards off of just 5 receptions, and as well as a touchdown. He caught a wide-open bomb and some blown coverage for a 75-yard touchdown strike delivered by none other than the Deuce on the Loose, Eric Dungey. Jamal Custis had a nice grab at a nice grab in the back of the end zone. 68 yards on the day, and he did come up with a nice touchdown. The thing about Custis, man, it seems like he catches the balls that he's not supposed to catch, and he doesn't catch the ones he's supposed to. He'll get hit right in the hands, wide open, and he'll drop it, but he'll catch the toughest balls up there in the air. So, don't know what that, but I'm not going to complain. That's a touchdown on the scoreboard, and that helped Syracuse to a big win. Nykeem Johnson also got in there. Just great production out of the wide receivers. Taj Harris had 45 yards and a touchdown on the day. He caught that one fader into the back of the end zone. Sterling Hofstrichter ended up forcing a fumble and recovered it himself off of a kickoff. He just went down and he shoved his helmet right in between the ball. Exciting stuff there. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, we played really, really well, especially for allowing 21 points. Ryan Guthrie, 12 tackles on the day and a tackle for loss. He's just continuously gotten better, continuously performed at a very high level. Andre Cisco took away his 7th interception of the season. He also had 6 tackles on the day. Trill Williams came up with a man-like interception. He just went one-on-one, squared right up with the defender, and ripped it out of his hands in the air, came down with the football, and that gave Syracuse a possession that I believe they ended up scoring on. So great production out of defense. Keelan Whitner at the linebacker position continues to step up his game in his senior season. He's been exciting. Evan Foster, Christopher Fedrick, Cullen, everybody played really, really well. Alton Robinson ended up having a strip sack. That's the other thing. We forced 4 turnovers in this ball game, 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions. So just really exciting stuff out of this Syracuse football team. And no other way you'd want to go out. You came out, you clearly dominated the football game, and that's exactly what you wanted to do. Because they clinched up second place in the ACC Atlantic, and they proved that they are clearly the second best team in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a disappointment when you think about it. How I almost don't agree with the different divisions there. Boston College, Pittsburgh Panthers, they're going to be playing Clemson in the ACC championship game next weekend. And they're not the second best team in the ACC. Syracuse is. And, it's how it's always been. It's not going to change. But it's just, what a rematch would that have been? What a rematch would that have been after Syracuse loses by 4 in Death Valley. They get a chance at redemption against a very good, very high, undefeated Clemson football team in an ACC championship game. That would be huge. I can imagine. Already I can imagine how exciting that would be as a Syracuse fan, and I'm sure everyone else can as well. Talking a little bit bowl games, I saw a lot. We're most likely heading to the Camping World Bowl in Orlando, Florida. And possible matchups for that would be the Texas Longhorns, which that would be awesome. A little rematch from the 1959 National Championship game that the Orange took back home to Syracuse. And another option I saw was West Virginia. Now, there's a lot that has to play out for all this to happen. We're most likely going to play Texas unless Texas ends up beating Oklahoma and blah, blah, blah. But how about West Virginia? That would be a very exciting game. Will Grier and that high-powered offense. It would be clearly an offensive shootout kind of football game, and it would just be really exciting to see what Syracuse would be able to do there in a matchup for the Schwartzwalder Trophy. Maybe they'd bring that back for a good old rivalry game. Guys, you know what? It's been a quick episode. I don't even know if I have that much more to go over. Syracuse came out. They dominated Boston College, who was a team that I thought they could have beat us, and I at least thought it was going to be close, but I thought they certainly could have beat us. We just pulled away. We wanted it more. We outplayed them physically. We outplayed them mentally. You could tell they were frustrated, and we just showed that we are the better football team. Now, as I said, the college football playoff rankings are going to be coming out tomorrow, which is a Tuesday night, and we're going to find out exactly where we stand there. Then this weekend in college football, you're going to have the conference championship games. You got, let's see, who's playing. I know Clemson, Pittsburgh is going to be the ACC, Northwestern Ohio State for the Big Ten, SEC, Alabama, and somebody. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head. Big 12, I believe it's Oklahoma and Texas. So some exciting stuff going on this weekend in college football. Syracuse won't really be in the mix until Sunday when they're going to announce the bowls. Now, there's still a very slim to none chance that they get into the New Year's Six Bowl. You need a few big teams to lose in that situation, and lose pretty badly. But you never know. I think they're going to give Syracuse credit for the big win this weekend. They're going to take into consideration how close we were against Pitt and against Clemson on the road. And the Notre Dame game, that's your one bad game of the year. And it's unfortunate that it fell at that time. I think if you lose that game earlier in the season, it doesn't impact you as much because they look more of what's going on now. And it certainly hurts that we lost by such an insurmountable amount of points as well. If it was a little bit of a closer game, I think it would have had less of an impact on us, and it could have been a closer game. We talked about it last episode. It could have been a lot closer. Very excited to see what happens tomorrow and what happens this weekend. We're going to have another episode coming to you very soon. I'm thinking tomorrow night I'm going to have a good friend of mine, Darren, on the show. We're going to do a little preview on Ohio State basketball. We're going to discuss what's going on there. Excited for that. That's a big opportunity for the Syracuse basketball team. They have a chance to basically redeem themselves. You had 2 losses in New York City that really hurt you. You played well last week against Colgate, and you beat them by a pretty decent amount. You were able to pull away towards the end, as we discussed last episode. And there's just a big opportunity on the table for Wednesday night. Syracuse versus a ranked Ohio State basketball team in Columbus, Ohio. Let's see what's there. And we're going to see you tomorrow night because we're going to discuss some Syracuse basketball. It's been fun. I know it was a short one. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Thank you for being active as always. I want to get some more stuff going on the Twitter, so please, please, please leave your thoughts. Hit me up, DM me, direct message me, whatever you want to do. Instagram as well. I'm always up for suggestions. I'm always up for consideration, whatever you got. Hit me up there. I'm going to put some polls and stuff out as I always do. Hopefully people get more active on there. So, yeah, that's all I had to Twitter. Like, subscribe on the YouTube. And let's go work, baby. Woo!